In a world where justice hangs in the balance, a riveting courtroom drama unfolds in the pages of Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. Fred Myers, also known as Boomerang, stands accused of a crime that transcends the boundaries of hero and villain. Is he a menace to society or a man wronged by an unjust system?
Order in the court.
As the trial begins, the courtroom becomes a battlefield of legal minds where attorney Matt Murdock fights tirelessly to defend his client's rights and prove that justice can prevail even in the face of adversity. The prosecution, led by Jennifer Walters, argues that Boomerang's past actions make him a threat that cannot be ignored. The stakes are high, and the verdict will have far-reaching consequences for the Marvel Universe.
Your Honor, I saw Boomerang causing absolute chaos.
He nearly killed me with one of those boomerangs of his.
This guy's a menace. He shouldn't be let out on the streets. Boomerang's emotional plea, the testimonies of heroes and villains, and the clash of legal titans create a narrative that will keep you on the edge of your seat. In a world where right and wrong blur, can justice prevail? Prepare to be captivated by Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, a gripping courtroom drama that explores the very essence of heroism, redemption, and the pursuit of truth. Get ready to deliberate the ultimate verdict. Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, available now at your local comics shop. Order your copy and become a part of this legal thriller that will leave you questioning what it truly means to be a hero. Justice awaits.
All right, it is time for another episode of AI Rights, and this was a bit of inspiration that just happened. This evening, Derry and Dean and I recorded our discussion on the deadly foes of Spider-Man for an upcoming episode of Unspoken Issues, so get a chance, check that out. We ended up getting a little sidetracked with a discussion on Boomerang, and if he has powers or if he does not. So to kind of give you an idea who Boomerang is Fred Myers. First appearance in Tales to Astonish number 81 in 1966, and his name kind of gives him away. He uses boomerangs as weapons. But one of the things that we discussed is the fact that he's just really good at throwing things, very similar to the villain Bullseye. So Boomerang is a villain as well. He just uses boomerangs all the time. However, he can also throw other things with deadly precision. So in the book, Boomerang gets caught, and they take him and put him in a cell, but the cell is made for superpowered individuals. And that's, of course, where the conversation skewed into a tangent, where Dean said that he believed that Boomerang's civil liberties were being violated. And granted, Boomerang says that. He is somewhat in the book, is that he doesn't understand why he's in this cell being held captive like a superpowered villain when he doesn't have superpowers. But the thing is like he can throw things and kill you with small objects if he wants to. But this cell is pretty crazy. It can, at one point he throws something at, I think, the cell wall, and these lasers come out and vaporize it before it reaches there. So yeah, we went off on a bit of a small discussion as to whether his civil liberties were being violated. I was of the position of like, well, you don't want to put him in a regular cell. Dean was like, well, yeah, but, who knows what is going on here? He's not a superpowered individual. He's being held with people with other superpowers. His civil liberties could be violated here, and that he should contact Daredevil, and Daredevil would represent him. So guess what, folks? That's right. Today you're going to be treated to a 3-issue Marvel ChatGPT series titled Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. I had ChatGPT suggest a writer and an artist. The writer is going to be Chip Zdarsky, art by David Nakayama. Chip Zdarsky I'm familiar with. Let's just go ahead and look him up real quick. We covered a small run of his on Daredevil that he did. It was really good, but he's pretty well known in the comic world. Born in 1975, his comic credits I mean, geez Louise. He won some Eisner Awards here. 2014, he won an Eisner Award for Best New Series called Sex Criminals, which I've heard of and haven't read. He won a 2016 Harvey Award for Humor, a special award for humor with Howard the Duck. Best Single Issue One Shot in 2019 Eisner Award, The Spectacular Spider-Man number 310. Again, he was an Eisner Award nominee for Best Writer in 2021 for Stillwater, Daredevil, and Fantastic Four X-Men. He's got a lot of comic books on his resume. As far as Daredevil goes, just to kind of give you an idea, he did a 2-year run of Daredevil between April of 2019 to December of 2021. But yeah, he's worked with DC, he's worked with Image, he did Archie comics, Jughead 1 through 8. He definitely has a humor bent to him. You know, sometimes a lot of what he writes has a bit of, it can be pretty funny, but he does action just as well. David Nakayama, let's take a look. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii, August 15th of 1978. He worked on some video games, A City of Heroes. He penciled City of Heroes 1 through 3, 5, 7 through 12, and 16. Looks like he's known for being a cover artist as well. I'm trying to see if he has a really long run on anything. Marvel Adventures, Hulk number 1, 3 through 5, 7, and 8. It doesn't look like he has a very long run on comics. Interesting that ChatGPT grabbed him as an artist, but his art style is beautiful. I will say that. Cover art on Deadpool Annual number 2. I'll just read his wiki here. David Nakayama's first professional comics work was published in Star Wars Tales number 17 while he was a student at the Kubert School. After winning Wizard Magazine's Be the Next Top Cow Superstar contest, he left the school and became an art intern at Top Cow Productions in Los Angeles, California. Under the instruction of industry legend Mark Silvestri, David improved his craft and went on to pencil titles such as Witchblade and City of Heroes before moving on to Marvel Comics in 2007. There, he helped launch the Marvel Adventures Hulk series and later collaborated with Chris Claremont on a 5-issue Big Hero 6 miniseries for Marvel. All right. Says he also produced art for the City of Heroes collectible card game. So there is David Nakayama. All right, let's get back to the story here. Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. So I told ChatGPT to give me a 3-issue series and detail it as best as possible. This is the first time we've got pages, folks. So this might take a few to get through, which is fine with me. But we have the contents on the pages described by ChatGPT here in this 3-issue series. But essentially, the main gist is Boomerang's in prison. He's upset he's being held in a superpowered cell and feels his civil rights are being violated. And Daredevil answers the call to sue and bring a case forward to try and get him out of there. I told it also to include some cameos of Marvel characters, heroes and villains across the Marvel Universe. So let's see how things go. All right, our first issue is going to be called Boomerang Behind Bars. It's funny that about 2 days after I've recorded the main section of this episode, I have continually come up with other things to ask ChatGPT to generate for this book. And today I thought I wanted to describe what would be on the cover of our first issue. So I asked it, can you describe what the cover of the first issue of the series would look like? Certainly. Here's a description of the cover for the first issue of Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. Title, Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. Issue 1, Boomerang Behind Bars. The cover description. The cover features a striking, eye-catching composition that immediately sets the tone for the series. It's a bold, action-packed illustration that captures the essence of the story. That seemed pretty generic to me. So I was like, oh boy, here goes ChatGPT just giving us the big broad strokes. But what I like about ChatGPT is it does get specific. So here we go. The background. The background is a dimly lit, high-tech prison cell. It's a futuristic-looking facility with energy fields, force fields, and advanced security measures. The cell is imposing and designed to contain superpowered individuals, emphasizing its high security nature. Okay, all right, definitely ties in with the title. In the foreground, in the center of the cover we see Boomerang in his iconic costume confined within the superpowered cell. He's pressing his hands against the energy field, emphasizing his frustration and determination to break free. Surrounding Boomerang, Spider-Man is seen swinging into action from the top left corner of the cover, poised to apprehend Boomerang. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, dressed in his lawyer attire, is shown standing near the cell, holding a briefcase with a determined expression. He represents the legal aspect of the story. On the right side of the cover, there's a collage of other Marvel heroes and villains, some behind bars and others outside, representing the diverse cast of characters who will play a role in the series. The entire cover is framed by dynamic energy effects, hinting at the superpowered conflicts and legal battles to come. Title logo. The title, Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, is bold and dynamic with a 90s comic book aesthetic. It features vibrant, eye-catching colors that pop against the darker background. Creative team credits. At the bottom of the cover, there are credits for the writer Chip Zdarsky and artist David Nakayama, in a style reminiscent of the 90s comic book lettering. Overall, the cover of the first issue combines action, drama, and legal intrigue, setting the stage for an exciting and thought-provoking series. Okay, I'm going to put this episode together. I want to stop asking questions. I think what I ought to do from here on out is maybe add a little something extra each time I do an episode. At some point, it's going to get overwhelming, but right now, this episode's at about a half hour, and I keep adding stuff to it, so I want to stop here. This is the final thing I'm going to add post-edit, and we'll get this episode out there. Our first page, the comic opens with a dynamic splash page showing Spider-Man swinging through the streets of New York City, hot on the trail of Boomerang, who is shown in the distance, trying to escape with a bag of stolen loot. On pages 2 and 3, a classic rooftop chase sequence unfolds as Spider-Man and Boomerang exchange witty banter while leaping and swinging across the cityscape. Boomerang's trademark boomerangs whiz through the air, but Spider-Man narrowly dodges them. On page 4, Spider-Man eventually catches up to Boomerang and they engage in a brief skirmish. Spider-Man manages to web Boomerang's arms, immobilizing him. Now, I said provide us with some appearances of other Marvel superheroes and villains. Our first cameo appearance happens here, while onlookers on the street below include Luke Cage and Iron Fist, watching the spectacle unfold with amused expressions. On pages 5 and 6, with Boomerang captured, Spider-Man quips about how he'll be taking him to the nearest police precinct. Boomerang, with a smirk, retorts that he's not afraid of jail. On page 7, cut to the police precinct where Boomerang is being booked. The officers are surprised to see Spider-Man bringing in a notorious criminal. Boomerang is confident and unrepentant. Our second cameo appearance in this issue is J. Jonah Jameson as he arrives at the precinct, eager for a front-page story on the capture of Boomerang. Pages 8 and 9, as Boomerang is processed, Spider-Man overhears a discussion among the officers about where to put him. One officer mentions that the superpowered cell is available, given Boomerang's history. Oh boy, here we go. We're setting things up. So, Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson are currently in the same building. So there should be some tension, or at least some words being said. We needed to very much have the interaction of Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson as they ran into each other at the police precinct. So the day after recording this, I went ahead and had ChatGPT come up with the interaction between Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson. And here we go. Spider-Man, casually walking into the precinct with Boomerang in tow. Well, JJ, what brings you to the heart of law and order? Finally decided to join the Spider fan club? Jameson, with arms crossed, grumbling. Don't you get cute with me, wall crawler. I'm here for one reason only. Front page news. And that walking Boomerang over there is my ticket. Oh, you mean Boomerang? He's just the life of the party. We were just discussing the latest in Boomerang fashion trends. Very cutting-edge stuff. Jameson rolls his eyes. Fashion trends? Spider-Man, this is serious business. That crook's been causing chaos for years, and I'm here to make sure he gets what he deserves. JJ, if I had a nickel for every time you said that, well, let's just say I'd have enough nickels to fill one of those Boomerang pouches of his. This is no laughing matter, Spider-Man. I'll have you know that... Before Jameson can finish his rant, Spider-Man playfully swings away, leaving Jameson fuming. Gotta swing, JJ, duty calls. But hey, don't forget to smile for the camera. Jameson shouting at the sky. You web-headed menace, one of these days, I'll catch you in the act. Spider-Man's laughter echoes in the distance as he swings away, leaving Jameson to grumble and shake his fist at the wall crawler. So on pages 10 and 11, Boomerang is taken to a high-security cell that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's equipped with advanced technology and energy fields to contain superpowered individuals. Boomerang is bewildered and protests, claiming he doesn't have any superpowers. On page 12 and 13, Boomerang is left alone in the cell, and he begins to pace back and forth, fuming about the injustice of his situation. He vows to fight back against this violation of his rights. Our third cameo appearance has the Shocker and the Rhino seen in separate adjacent cells, looking at Boomerang curiously and exchanging comments about the new arrival. On page 14 through 15 in the subplot, we see Matt Murdock, Daredevil, in his law office contemplating his next case. He hears about Boomerang's situation on the news and becomes intrigued by the unique legal challenge. The next couple pages show that back in the superpowered cell, Boomerang uses a hidden compartment in his costume to retrieve a small communication device. He makes contact with Matt Murdock, asking for his legal assistance to sue the prison. Daredevil's radar sense is shown briefly as he senses the turmoil at the precinct and Boomerang's distress through the news. Page 18. The issue ends with a dramatic shot of Matt Murdock now considering whether to take on Boomerang's case, setting up the legal battle to come. Editor's note. The first issue sets up the central conflict of the series, with Boomerang's incarceration in a superpowered cell and his decision to seek legal representation. It establishes the humor and banter between Boomerang and Spider-Man, as well as the initial skepticism surrounding Boomerang's claim of not having superpowers. Matt Murdock's involvement is teased, laying the groundwork for the legal drama to unfold in subsequent issues. Cameo appearances by other Marvel characters add depth to the story and connect it to the wider Marvel universe. Next issue. Same creative team here. Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, Issue 2, Legal Loopholes, and Boomerangs. The issue begins with a recap page summarizing the events of the previous issue, highlighting Boomerang's incarceration in the superpowered cell. On pages 2 and 3, a 2-page spread shows Boomerang's day-to-day life inside the superpowered cell. He interacts with other inmates, some of whom are amused by his predicament. Cameo appearance 1. The Vulture can be seen in a neighboring cell, enjoying a game of chess with a fellow inmate. He comments on Boomerang's situation, expressing disdain for being caged with non-flyers. He's upset because the Vulture is upset because he is being caged with other people that cannot fly. All right. Pages 4 and 5. Boomerang's frustration continues to grow as he grumbles about the unfair treatment. He begins researching the legal rights of prisoners. On 6 and 7, Matt Murdock is shown at his law office researching the specifics of Boomerang's case. He discusses it with his law partner Foggy Nelson, who is initially skeptical but sees the potential for a high-profile case. And that is our second cameo appearance, by the way. Foggy Nelson is shown wearing a Nelson and Murdock attorneys at law shirt while reviewing legal documents. Sorry, I just had a vision of somebody actually wearing a shirt that had a lawyer's office name across it. I've seen billboards with that, but I don't know if I've seen shirts. I'm sure they exist, but it's an interesting visual. So pages 8 and 9, Matt decides to visit the prison to meet Boomerang in person. He uses his Daredevil persona to navigate the prison security discreetly. In our third cameo appearance, Daredevil stealthily passes by the cell of the Owl, who is engaged in a heated conversation with his lawyer about an ongoing legal battle. So I'm trying to figure out, is Matt dressed up as Daredevil doing this? It doesn't sound like it, but it says he stealthily passes by the cell of the Owl. Maybe he's doing this as Daredevil. I don't know. But, all right, pages 10 through 11. Daredevil meets Boomerang and listens to his grievances. Boomerang passionately argues that he doesn't belong in the superpowered cell and is determined to prove his point. Back at their law office, on pages 12 and 13, Matt and Foggy discuss the legal strategy they decide to take on Boomerang's case, realizing the potential impact it could have on prison reform. Our fourth cameo appearance goes back to J. Jonah Jameson, who pays a visit to the law office, expressing his skepticism about the case and warning Matt about the potential backlash. That's interesting. So why would J. Jonah Jameson be like, hey, if you take this case, you're going to have some problems? I know the media is going to be involved here. I think I saw that here later, which makes sense because J. Jonah Jameson is going to cover this story. Pages 14 through 15, Matt Murdock begins researching precedents and legal arguments to challenge Boomerang's placement in the superpowered cell. He identifies past cases involving non-powered individuals in similar situations. Gripping. Pages 16 through 17, Boomerang, still in the superpowered cell, continues to interact with fellow inmates. He begins to rally some of them to his cause, advocating for better treatment for all prisoners. Well, the Rhino makes an appearance here. Having overheard Boomerang's speech, becomes intrigued and starts questioning his own situation within the prison. In page 18, the issue ends with Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson preparing to file a lawsuit against the prison, setting the stage for the legal battle to come. What a cliffhanger. Matt Murdock, and then they're like, I could just see them like the splash page of them handing the documents over to file the case. Editor's note. The second issue delves deeper into Boomerang's life inside the superpowered cell and Matt Murdock's decision to take on his case. Cameo appearances by other Marvel characters add depth to the story and connect it to the wider Marvel universe, while also highlighting the broader issue of prison reform. The legal drama intensifies as Matt begins to build his case, setting up the anticipation for the courtroom battle in the next issue. And finally, we've hit the end. It's issue 3. I can't believe we had 3 issues of this, but here we go. Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, Issue 3, Justice is Blind, but not Boomerang. Same creative team here. Page 1. The issue opens with a dramatic 2-page spread of the exterior of the courthouse where Boomerang's case is about to go to trial. Cameo appearance 1. Captain America, Steve Rogers, is shown among the crowd of onlookers outside the courthouse observing the legal proceedings with interest. Cap's got nothing better to do but be involved in this. I mean, Civil War, Boomerang's trial, I don't know. Page 2 and 3. Inside the courthouse, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, stands at the defense table with Boomerang. The courtroom is filled with reporters, lawyers, and spectators, all eager to witness the high-profile trial. Luke Cage and Iron Fist are back, and they're seen sitting among the spectators, offering their support for Boomerang's case. So they are actually behind Boomerang here. Interesting. The trial begins and the prosecutor argues that Boomerang belongs in the superpowered cell due to the extensive criminal history and proficiency with dangerous weaponry. I was on that team, me personally. That's what I felt. I felt like you put him in this thing because if he's that dangerous, you don't want him, if he does get a hold of something, you want any and everything that can be in there to stop him. She-Hulk, our third cameo appearance here, She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, is introduced as the prosecutor, bringing her formidable legal skills to the courtroom. She argues passionately against Boomerang's claims. So, this is interesting because we've seen Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock in a courtroom before. This is good stuff. On pages 6 and 7, Matt Murdock presents his case, emphasizing the absurdity of imprisoning a non-powered individual with superpowered inmates. He argues that this treatment violates Boomerang's civil liberties. Iron Fist briefly uses his martial arts skills to calm down a spectator. Oh my gosh. Iron Fist briefly uses his martial arts skills to calm down a spectator who gets agitated during Matt's argument. Oh, way to go, Iron Fist. Pages 8 and 9, testimonies are heard from various Marvel characters, including Spider-Man, who recounts his previous encounters with Boomerang. Some testify in favor of Boomerang's rehabilitation, while others argue for his continued imprisonment. In our fifth cameo appearance, back comes J. Jonah Jameson, now serving as a commentator on the trial for a news outlet, provides a biased perspective, surprise, highlighting the divisive public opinion on the case. On pages 10 and 11, the Kingpin, watching the trial from a distance, expresses his interest in the outcome, as it could have implication on his own criminal enterprises. Daredevil's radar sense is depicted as he listens to the testimonies, providing insights into the emotional states of the witnesses. Well, that's interesting. So he's using his power to make sure he understands how the witnesses feel? Okay, all right. I don't know how that fits into things, but whatever. I should probably ask ChatGPT, why is he doing that? If I can remember, I'll do that. And I did just that. So here you go, folks. I asked, why was Daredevil using his radar senses on the witnesses? I mean, I could kind of get it a little bit. Let's see if what it says justifies what I'm thinking. So it says, in Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga, Issue 3, Daredevil uses his radar senses on the witnesses during the trial for a specific and strategic purpose. Daredevil's radar sense allows him to perceive the emotional states and reactions of individuals around him, which can be a valuable asset in a courtroom setting. Here's why Daredevil employs his radar senses on the witnesses. Number 1. Detecting deception. This is kind of what I was thinking. Daredevil uses his heightened senses to detect subtle changes in a witness's heartbeat, breathing, and body language. This enables him to identify when a witness might be lying or withholding information on the stand. His radar sense helps him gauge the credibility of the testimony and assess whether it aligns with the truth. Number 2, evaluating emotions. By tuning into the emotional states of the witnesses, Daredevil can gauge their sincerity, nervousness, or any signs of manipulation. This information can be crucial in cross-examination, allowing him to ask the right questions to challenge the witness effectively. Number 3, ensuring fairness. Daredevil's radar sense also helps him ensure a fair trial. By monitoring the reactions of the witnesses, he can detect signs of intimidation, coercion, or undue influence that might affect their testimony. This allows him to advocate for the integrity of the trial process. Assisting Matt Murdock. As Daredevil, Matt Murdock can relay valuable insights to his alter ego, the defense attorney. There's 3 people there in that conversation. Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Okay. All right. Anyway, by using his radar sense, he provides an additional layer of analysis to aid in constructing effective legal strategies and arguments. Daredevil's use of his radar senses in the courtroom adds a unique dimension to his role as both a superhero and a lawyer. It demonstrates how his superhuman abilities can be an asset in the pursuit of justice and the defense of his clients. Okay, there you go. Pages 12 through 13. The trial takes an unexpected turn when Boomerang delivers a heartfelt speech expressing remorse for his past actions and his desire for a chance at redemption. Let's just ask ChatGPT to give us that speech. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I stand before you not as a hero nor as a villain, but as a man who has made mistakes. I've thrown my share of boomerangs, and I've certainly had my run-ins with the law, but today I stand before you as someone who's asking for a chance at redemption. Boomerang takes a deep breath and continues. I want to make it clear that I've never had any superpowers. I've never been bitten by a radioactive spider, exposed to gamma radiation, or injected with a super serum. I'm just a guy with an uncanny talent for throwing boomerangs. And yeah, I've used that talent for illegal activities in the past. He looks around the courtroom, making eye contact with the jury and spectators. But here's the thing. I've paid my dues. I've been arrested, tried, and sentenced for my crimes. I've spent time behind bars, and I've had the chance to reflect on my life. I've seen the impact of my actions on others, and it's haunted me. Boomerang's tone becomes more earnest. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm asking for a chance to change. The superpowered cell is not the place for me. It's not the place for any non-powered individual. I'm not a threat to society in the same way that some of the other inmates are. I'm not a supervillain. I'm a man who wants to make amends. He takes a step closer to the jury. Your Honor, members of the jury, I'm not denying my past, but I'm pleading for a future where I can prove that I can be a productive member of society, a future where I can use my skills for good, not for crime. I want to show the world that people can change, that rehabilitation is possible. Boomerang's voice cracks with emotion. I've wasted enough of my life on the wrong side of the law. I want to make it right. I want a chance to live a life that matters, a life that makes a difference, no matter how small. He looks directly at the jury, eyes filled with sincerity. I'm asking for your understanding, your compassion, and your belief that even a guy like me can change. Please give me that chance. Thank you. Okay, let's head back here. She-Hulk briefly questions Boomerang's sincerity during cross-examination, highlighting the emotional tension in the courtroom. Closing arguments are presented by both sides, with Matt Murdock making a passionate plea for justice and the reform of the prison system. On 16 and 17, the issue reaches its climax as the jury deliberates and the public awaits the verdict with bated breath. Captain America is shown again, now talking to Luke Cage and Iron Fist, discussing the significance of the trial in the context of the superhero community. On page 18, the issue concludes with the delivery of the verdict, which will determine the future of Boomerang and set a precedent for the treatment of non-powered individuals in superpowered prisons. earlier I told it to tell me what the verdict is going to be. It says the verdict ultimately favors Boomerang, leading to his transfer to a standard prison facility. However, the case sparks a much-needed debate about prison reform and the treatment of non-powered individuals within the Marvel Universe's legal system. Boomerang's experience serves as a catalyst for change, and the story concludes with a hopeful note as the Marvel heroes and villains reflect on the need for a more just and equitable penal system. Okay, so let me get down here to the final editor's note. The third issue focuses on the courtroom drama surrounding Boomerang's case, with cameo appearances by various Marvel characters who offer their perspectives on the trial. The verdict will have significant implications for Boomerang and the broader issue of prison reform within the Marvel Universe, setting the stage for the series' resolution. Okay, so there you go, folks. That right there was Boomerang, the Superpowered Cell Saga. Are you rushing out to get this one? Thanks for joining us here on AI Rights. I look forward to coming up with some additional silliness for us at some point. If you'd like to, you can reach me on X at SourceMattCast. Feel free to drop us a prompt. You know, you can go back in the archive, check out some other AI Rights episodes that we did. The first one, I think, was Punisher versus Spawn. I mean, I don't know how much more 90s you get with that. Also, Buffy the Vampire Slayer versus Batman from the Red Rain universe. Yeah, DC's Red Rain universe where Batman was a vampire. It happened. So check out those previous episodes, and of course the Source Material Comics podcast, along with the Unspoken Issues podcast where we focus on 90s comics. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.